Well,
everything's changed. Hey, y'all.
it won't play the video.
Wow, no intro.
No intro. I don't know what's
No.
going on. It won't play the
Hey,
video either.
everything in StreamYard, all of my settings and everything are completely different.
Yeah.
I don't know how yours looks, but when you
They're
told me to
different.
share the link, I couldn't figure out what to do, and that's why it kept kicking me out.
I have no idea what's going on. I'm gonna have to mess with that after we get off here. But anyway,
Hey, guys.
wow, that sucks. Hey, everybody.
You got a
And there's no
shitty job getting all this set up.
don't. Here we go. It's not me. I had nothing to do with the setting up or the failures today. Anyway,
Yeah,
hello everybody in chat, moderators, everybody that's in there. Thank you very much. Sorry about the delay getting going and not having an intro video. I don't know what's going on. And since it's DA and Robbie, we figured we'd just bring them out with us. So everybody say hello to our two authors that are on the show today.
Yeah, man, I'm
Thanks,
glad
Allan.
to have them. Glad to have them. They got a lot of something to talk about.
Well, I hope so. I'm doing my best. But since they haven't read the book yet, there's only so much we can talk about.
Damn, he's busting us right off the get-go.
Well, I don't want to give anything away. I really want your genuine reactions.
No, man. Well, I can tell you, I'm overjoyed because I've been reading it as he's been writing it. And I've been keeping it all secret from these two. So, hey, it's going to be awesome when they read it.
So, just so everybody knows, DA has a new book out. It's the Lakeview Man series, and it's called Dead of Winter. Robbie's got a new book out. Well, how long ago did you release it, Robbie?
Oh, the second book's been out for about 2 months. Third book should be probably in another week or so. It'll be out.
So, since DA has a new book that and it's near and dear to us. So, anyway, we wanted to get him on and try to get you guys convinced to go over there and take a look at it. And if you would be so kind, read the thing. Go back and read the whole series. I didn't even know that the Lakeview Man was the series till Greg told me about it, but I don't keep up with this kind of stuff. Anyway.
Yeah, you're missing out horribly. Oh, yeah, this
I read
one.
a little bit of it. Greg didn't want to give too much away, so I'm
Well,
waiting on
yeah.
I want to order my copy straight from you guys because I want my copy signed.
Well, it's a little bit of a spoiler. The three of you might make an appearance. Or a fairly good-sized appearance, actually.
Yeah. Let me
Okay, it's more than an appearance.
Yeah, let me set this up. I get a message from DA, and I'm oblivious to any of this. He asked me to be one of his alpha readers that reads his books as he's writing them. Well, I'm like floored that he's asked me to do this, and I was like, not yet, not just yet, but hell yeah.
First thing I asked him was if he could read.
Yes, we had to get the groundwork on that. And no, spell probably not, but I can read fairly decent. I've been kind of hooked on phonics, for a few years, and it went from there. So anyway, he sends me, I don't know, what was it, 2 or 3, 4 chapters or something to start
like
with, and I start reading it, and the first chapter was golden, and I'm like, man, I'm really liking this, and then I get over into the second chapter. And, the suspense is building and all this. And next thing I know, there's these 3 people that the 2 police officers in this book run up on. And they're in this basically shut down for the wintertime camping area. And then I read on that how it all rolls into this, they introduce themselves, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's us. Whoop, 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 back up. I had to read it again. I was like, no, he didn't. I'm like, oh yeah, he did. And then it just starts going from there. And it was like, man, that's pretty cool. We kind of got an honorable mention. And then I was like, wait a minute. Wow, he's like really wrote us in this book. And oh my goodness. And y'all, I'm just sitting over here just like when my mouth gaped open going, he really, and I'm wanting to call somebody. I'm like, I don't need to tell nobody. And I'm having to suffer through. And he'll do 3 or 4 chapters and stop. And then you got to wait a few days for him to catch you up and get some more. And I'm just over here biting my fingernails going, what are we doing next? Man. So, yeah, Spencer and Misty still in the dark. Now, look, Misty came down last week or week before last, whatever, Allan passed away. And she got to read, I just like skipped over the first chapter. And I said, start reading here. And she read just a little bit. And we got busy, and she never did read anymore. I was going to let her read some of it here. But, yeah, it's awesome.
What do you say to something like that? Like, I mean, it blows your freaking mind, y'all. I mean,
well, I want to know your honest opinion.
Y'all ain't even going to believe.
Once you've read it, I want to know your honest opinion if I wrote you well. I mean, I tried to capture your personalities, and I hope that shows through in the pages.
Oh boy!
Hey, I told him the other day. I gave him a hint, and I don't think he believed me. I told him, I said that, I said, I want to let y'all know. I said, DA wrote Spencer in as like the highest level, like super ninja. And he's got Misty down in there coming out as like she's like a super powered, like highest level witch. And he's got me down as like a grandmaster in the Kama Sutra. And I don't know, right?
If he kept it remotely close to real life, either I'm gonna be killed in the book, probably by a squirrel. Either I'm gonna get killed, or it's nothing but everybody shit talking me through the whole thing. So we'll see.
Well, I will tell you this much: at one point, all three of you are in mortal danger.
Oh yes,
and I do kill characters. Not saying you guys die, but I ask anybody that's read my books. I'm death on characters.
I read somebody commenting about this book, and they were like, "I can't believe you killed her." And I was like, "Who'd he kill? Who'd he kill?"
Greg, I've been getting a lot of text messages and emails about that too. Probably more than I ever have on a book. I mean, I'm getting some, hey now.
Yeah, man. Even the Alpha Chat Raiders, and part of that is like, whoop. You sure? I mean, man, come on.
Robbie, did your first two, did they get received pretty well? Did they, Yeah,
I mean, I'm nowhere near his level, but they're not bad. Greg actually reads for me too, so
yes. Hey, and here, let me throw Robbie out here too. Y'all, he tells me, he's like, he wants me to be a reader for him, and then he goes, man, I wrote you into this book, but since DA's got you in, said I'm gonna have to change your last name. I'm gonna drop the S out of it, but you're in my book. And I'm like, y'all, come what? So yeah, here I am, and y'all, I mean, just floored. So yeah, so look, here's your deal. Y'all got to read. Y'all got to buy DA's, and you got to buy Robbie's both.
Yep. Go over to Amazon. I assume Robbie's is on Amazon, right?
Yep.
Go over to Amazon.
I've not read them all, but what I've read of some of them, they're really good. They really are. If y'all haven't read any of them, go check all of them out. All the series, they're all good.
Yes.
One of the things that I think that's really cool about it is both y'all, just like us, we go out and actually look for cryptids. You guys do too. And just like us, you guys have a podcast, you have people on, and we're all talking and hashing this stuff around. So I think it's especially entertaining. The little bit that I have read from DA, it's kind of like Cam, kind of like Cam Buckner. Not to throw another person in here, but whenever he's talking in the stories that he's writing for, man, what's it called? I just lost it.
Steve Lilly.
Steve Lilly. He's coming with all of this information because he's been doing it so long. You guys are doing the same thing. You're actually producing books, though, you know, and it's based off of just this world of information and experience that you guys have gotten. Let me ask you this. Whenever you're actually sitting down thinking of these in the storyline, there has to be times where you kind of know that you want the story to go this way. Do you ever get bogged down where you're like, would that be realistic? Would it really happen that way? And, you know, you struggle to come up with, like, you know, trying to keep it entertaining, but realistic, because you know what you know about real life, like cryptids and all this shit.
Well, Doc was a combat medic in the Air Force, so whenever I do somebody an injury, I call Doc. I'm like, all right, this is what happened. I need to know if they'd survive or not. And sometimes he'll go, oh yeah, they'd survive that pretty easy. And other times, like, nope, you're going to rework that one. That one's graveyard dead. So I try to make all the medical as realistic as I can. And I tend to, like, on my desk right here, I'll put out 4 or 5 pieces of paper when I'm writing a combat scene, and I'll write down the names of everybody involved. And every time one of them discharges a weapon, I put a little tick mark next to their name. So I know exactly when every character is running out of ammunition and needs to reload.
Right. Combat reload.
Right.
Down
And
to the last couple, slap it.
And, you know, and things like that. I mean, if I've got, like, you know, even, you know, like if I'm still writing law enforcement stuff, I've asked Robbie stuff because things have changed since I got out. You know, I've asked Doc stuff. I've called Steve. You know, I've got, fortunately, a group of people around me that have a pretty broad spectrum of background skills. Well, for example, the one I'm writing right now. There's a scene where one of the characters, Jed, is tracking, and I called Robbie. I'm like, hey, I want to make, you know, look over this and make sure it's right. And he's like, yeah, you got the details. You paid attention last time.
Yeah, kind of the same thing. I mean, you know, if I get into a scene where I'm kind of like, which way should this go? You know, I'll send DA a text, hey, you got a minute? And then we'll get on about, hey, this is where I want to go, but this is where I'm at. Is this going to work? Or, and he'll be like, oh yeah, you're going in the right direction, or maybe try this. Or, and you know, we constantly bouncing ideas off each other. And
do you start writing and kind of develop, like, the flow as you're writing and adjust it as you're going, or do you have the basic premise in your head before you even start writing?
I think for me, for the most part, DA and I write a lot alike. Our styles are very similar, but I think how we start and finish are completely different. He's more of a, you know, he's got the pretty much the entire book planned out before he starts. Me, I'm more the seat of the pants. I'll have a, like, okay, this is the story I want to tell, but I have no idea how I'm going to get from the start point to the finish point,
right,
until I'm sitting down writing it. And that's the way I just shoot from the hip, basically, the entire book. And if I run into a spot, like I said, I'll call DA. Hey, did I write myself into a corner here? Same thing with that, and Doc didn't care, or he hadn't read it at that point, but DA caught one of the medical things that I messed up in this book currently. He's like, that ain't going to work. You're going to have to rewrite that. And I'm like, well, he said, yeah, they would die in that situation. I'm like, okay, we'll go back and change it then. So, I mean, it's good to have, you got to have stuff like that.
I write a lot like that. Robbie makes it sound like I have this grand master plan before I start. I really don't. I I've got a beginning, a middle, and an end in mind. And I start at the beginning and I let the characters get me to those points. No great story has ever survived contact with Margolin. It's one of my characters in my books. That guy will throw a monkey wrench in everything. And there'll be times I'll be writing conversations with that little idiot, and he'll say stuff even I didn't know where it came from. I'd be like, God dang, where did that come from? Because he's just such a little smart ass. The stuff that pops out of Margolin's mouth, it astounds even me, and I wrote it. I've got my characters so developed in my head. They've got their own personalities, and I know that sounds kind of crazy, but so writing for me is like listening to all the personalities in my head and coalescing a story.
Hey, I get it. I got a couple personalities that talk to me all the time. One of them I can't even understand, but I just go with it.
And writer's block is when they don't want to talk to me.
There you go. Misty, what do you got? You got the little Mexican woman and you got the British dude, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
She tries to tell me right from wrong. He instigates shit, but
Well, I've got the infamous British voice that I do when I start talking about the old British Museum, how they denied the existence of even like mountain gorillas until somebody dropped a body on the table. I always say that that's what the British Museums even today, when people talk about Bigfoot, they're like, oh no, that couldn't possibly exist. And then you drag one in, throw it on their desk, like, oh, I saw it first, I get to name it.
Oh man.
So,
well, now DA, y'all are going to be at a conference pretty soon, right?
In Ohio in October.
Okay, October.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the spirit of the forest, spirit of the forest, spirit of the woods, spirit of the woods, spirit of the woods, Bigfoot Festival in Ohio.
Spirit of the forest.
Okay.
I always get it wrong. I can never get the name right. Don't know why. Just can't.
Okay.
When is it?
Well, so that would be a great time for somebody. That would be a great time for somebody that's bought some of the books to show up and.
Oh yeah, I guess I will have copies, pretty much all of them there to sign as well. Not to mention Robbie's going to be there with books, and we probably have some T-shirts and hats and all kinds of other goofy shit.
Awesome.
Plus, Robbie's teaching a class on tracking at the convention, and we'll both be speaking there.
Wow,
that's cool. I'd like to see that. I've taken some basic tracking, and none of it stuck. It's kind of like wild edibles. I only know a handful. I just can't remember too much information.
Well, I used to think I was pretty good at tracking until I spent a couple of days in the woods with Robbie.
Yeah.
Just call him Tonto.
I know I got to get him down here and go in with us and show us some stuff, because I can track pretty decent, but I mean, it never hurts to learn more.
I spent 15 minutes with Robbie and learned more than I had in the previous 30 years.
Wow.
Really?
Well, kind of like he kind of like I am with the books with him. He makes me sound like this grandmaster. It's just when you know what to look for, it makes it look easy. Makes it look like
Sure.
Anybody could be at the level I'm at. It's just a matter of learning what to pick up, and it's like we talk about. Once you've got that switch turned on for cryptids, and you know what you're looking for,
the signs are a lot more obvious.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, before we get too far off topic, let's sell some books for y'all. So, number one, when are the dates for the Spirit in the Forest or Spirit in the Woods thing, whatever that you'll be at?
I shall consult the Googles. Just a second.
Let's find that out so people.
I swear I got to get that patent.
Okay, Spirit of the Forest. If you go to BigfootFestivalOhio.com, no, it's BigfootFestivalOH.com. That's the official website. It's October 23rd, 24th, and 25th, but the 23rd's kind of like a VIP kind of thing, meet and greet.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
But
you can buy tickets. If you go on the website, you can purchase your tickets, and that'll get you tickets for like Wayne's casting class, mob tracking class, all those extra. You can buy the tickets on that and already have everything. Now you can get them the day of too, but you can just kind of shop at one stop shopping for that.
Russell LaCourt will be there as well.
Yeah, Russell will be there. Wayne Tothrow, DA, and I. I think Miss Nelma coming again this year.
Yes, I believe so.
Where is that? Where is that at in Ohio?
It's going to be at the Mercer County Fairgrounds this year. And is it still Greenville, Ohio, DA, or close to it?
I don't remember what it's.
Let me
look.
It was in Greenville, Ohio last year, but it got big.
Well, I think it's right there, almost in the same spot, but it may not be quote unquote the same town.
Yeah, I know she said that it was close, but I just don't remember if it was the same actual town. But it's close to Greenville, Ohio. But it's the Mercer County Fairgrounds.
And this year they have on-site camping.
Yeah. The first day of the event last year was kind of like, well, this is, it's good, but there's not a whole lot of people here. That next day, they had to add about 3 extra parking areas,
3 or 4.
All the people.
Really?
They showed up on the Saturday. Yeah, it was packed.
Yeah.
That's why she went to the fairgrounds this year.
And what's the other one? There's another one near you.
It's here in Springfield, Missouri. It's called the Ozark Mountain Bigfoot Conference, and it'll be here in Springfield on the 4th of October. I'll be one of the speakers there. Wayne Tothrow is going to be one of the speakers there. It's going to be a pretty big deal. I mean, there's like a 3-day camp out after this one, but you've got to sign up before it's sold out.
We're gonna get you guys at our next meet and greet.
Definitely, I can't wait for that.
Yeah,
I wanted to go to the last one, but it coincided. I think it coincided with my son's wedding. I don't remember something. I couldn't go.
Y'all had to go move Nick back in, I believe.
Oh, okay, all right.
So why don't we go over real quick? Why don't you just tell people, either one of you, whoever wants to start, why don't you tell people, like Robbie, I don't know if you want to talk about your whole series or the book that you have coming up or your last one out, but DA, you can definitely talk about the Dead of Winter one that you just released. But why don't you give people like a little taste of what it's about? They can go on Amazon and read the preview thing. I assume they can do that with Robbie's also.
Mm-hmm.
But just
I was trying to share the links, and I don't know if it came through right.
We will put the links on for the Amazon. We'll put them in the description after the show is over. But anyway, guys, one of y'all talk a little bit about the storyline so people know what they're looking at, what they're looking for.
Robbie, you go ahead and go first, bud.
Do you want me to kind of get into the teaser, or you want me to save that and let you do that towards the?
Either one, up to you, bud.
I'll tell about mine, and then you go with yours, and then hit that at the end of it. So my first series that I'm working on now is the Shadow Walker series, and it starts out with Silver Stars, the first book in the series, and it's set up here in Pickens County in South Carolina, where I live. And the basic gist of the story is deputy out in a rural county goes on a typical 911 open line. DA will tell you, that's a lot. You get a lot of calls like that, and that could be anything from bad weather causing it, or somebody called and decided it was, I was trying to dial 411 or whatever, and doesn't get the phone hang. It's a general. Greg, you probably done a million of them too. It's just you never know what you're going to get into. And I got to thinking, I said, what would happen if you go bebopping up to a call like that, and it's more than what you bargained for. So basically, the guy gets the deputy gets attacked and bitten by a werewolf, and it goes from there, and it's really kind of based on the Cherokee parable of the two wolves. You know, the grandfather telling his grandson the story of the two wolves. Everybody's got two wolves tied up inside them, and the grandchild says, "Well, which wolf lives, grandfather?" He says, "Whichever one you feed." So that's the kind of the he's got to pick which road he's going to walk. Is he going to feed the evil wolf, or is he going to feed the good wolf? And
he's the good wolf. I'm the evil wolf.
But
Yeah.
so he goes through that. That's the first book's all about that part of it. And then the second book is Greg actually kind of helped me come up with that title, because I ran it by him, and he was like, "Dude, I don't think anybody's ever wrote about that cryptid." So it's not about the lizard man of Lee County in South Carolina, but that's kind of the premise. It turns out to be something a little different, but that's the premise of it, and that's what everybody thinks it is, and that kind of thing. So it's, like I said, it's based in Lee County, South Carolina, which is down in the lower part of the state, Bishopville, those areas. And the third one that I'm working on right now is based in Gatlinburg at the Great Smoky Mountains National Park.
Oh.
And I'll let DA kind of get into the softball curve or the baseball curves that are being thrown from there on. So,
well, the Dead of Winter is in the fourth book in the Lakeview Man series. I've got 36 books out now. But the Lakeview Man series centers around what is essentially because I don't use the actual name of the sheriff's department. I changed the name from Stone County to Sloan County with an L, but it's actually set in Stone County, Missouri, which is down at Table Rock Lake. It's a beautiful area, but there's a lot of creepy stuff goes on down there. And the Lakeview Man, the premise is how a small sheriff's department tries to deal with a cryptid incursion. And then it just keeps happening. But the fourth one is set where Robbie and I'm sure you guys have heard us talk about going into Combs Ferry by boat.
Yeah.
Well, it starts out there. That's a campground that's been abandoned for like 40 years, and it is destroyed. It looks like a nuclear bomb went off in it. It's completely reclaimed by nature. So we went in there and had one of the wildest cryptid experiences of our lives in there. It was insane. Part of the events in the book actually are from that night. So in that sense, a lot of what Robbie and I both write are really based on true stories, because we add so much real world details. I use real settings. Robbie does too. I told Robbie from the beginning, write what you know, write places you know, because if you've never been there, it's going to show through in the writing. If I couldn't tell you what it smells like in downtown New York. I've never been there. Don't want to be there. But I can tell you what walking through the Mark Twain National Forest feels like. And so I write places I know, and I grew up running those hills and valleys around Kimberling City, and I add in the little details that only somebody around here would know, like the really great little restaurants that are off the beaten path, and the type of people you'll run into, and then some of them are based on real folks. And it's just to me, I wanted it to feel like a horror story, but you're still walking through the heart of the Ozarks. Ozarks born, Ozarks bred, and that's probably where I'll die. But I just wanted to kind of give back that love I have of the rich folklore and heritage we have here in the Ozarks. And there's a lot of creepy stories here, and it was really what fueled the fire to begin with. But Dead of Winter really kind of picks up shortly after the end of the third book. But it's also tying into the other books, because it brings in a bunch of characters from other series. And this one turns out to be a pretty big fight. And the fight that actually ends in this one was started in another series about 5 books ago. It's dealing with a villain that came back. But a certain group of intrepid explorers find their way into Missouri to go explore the old abandoned campground. Which we've talked about on the air about, so you guys would have plenty of knowledge of the campgrounds over there. They go in to explore it and walk right into an Ozarks nightmare, and it kind of proceeds from there. And the fight scenes are fun. There's a lot of my dark sense of humor in it. There's a couple of inside jokes that everybody from your channel will get the jokes, but I think you guys are going to really appreciate. Spencer might not appreciate it as much, but I think you guys will. You not only will you get the humor, but I tried to bring not just you guys as characters, but your personalities. I tried to bring details that connect not just my show, but your show and all of us to those settings. And I think I did okay.
Is he my
Oh, you did
partner?
phenomenal. They're like,
What'd you say? What'd you say, Misty?
I said, tell me he's my pack mule.
oh my God.
Well, I don't want to give anything away, but I've Robbie and I have been kind of coordinating for like the last like 6 months. Robbie talking about different plot lines, and then we were like encouraging each other, talking, because when Robbie and Doc were here in January, that's what we did. Was we went out to creepy places and we talked about books and plot lines. Would have a few beers and sit out in my backyard around the fire and talk about different ideas. So just off of that, I had a lot of material. Hey Coonbo, what's up, brother? But Robbie and I decided to take it just a step further. And instead of just referencing each other, we started dropping very subtle hints that those books might be in the same universe.
Oh, cool.
Might actually wind up being deeper than that.
Man, I want to do the pre-screening reading thing that y'all let Greg do.
I can't wait till y'all read these.
Well, Spencer, I tell you what, I do need some extra ones. So if you wanna volunteer to be one of my Wolfpack readers,
I do. I don't have any specialty that I can offer advice on, but I'd like to. I want to see behind the scenes before you release the part where inevitably you end up letting Misty kill me. I want to see it so I know what's coming before the public gets it.
Yes.
We give you
if it happens,
we love you, and I have to say, Spencer kind of really is a little bit of a badass. He don't brag, and we give him so much crap nobody really knows.
Don't worry, Spencer. If I do have her kill you off, it's going to involve herbs from her garden, a meat cleaver, and a jar of Alabama white sauce.
There you go.
Perfect.
The tainted white sauce.
I'd be like, damn it, I knew that stuff was going to get me in the end.
Oh.
I told you that's mayonnaise shit would kill me.
Yeah. It's not a barbecue sauce. Somebody put that on my gravestone. White sauce is not a barbecue sauce.
His last dying breath was he'd be going, I told you it's supposed to be refrigerated.
They put onions in it.
If you use Duke's mayonnaise in it, I would definitely die.
For some of you eagle-eyed people that was watching Greg when DA was talking about the subtle hints, and Greg started doing like I said, Greg's one of my readers, and there's a lot of Easter eggs that are going to be coming out in book 3, and I'm sure Greg's been sitting there reading them, going, "I knew it."
Yeah, exactly.
And the new book that I'm working on it's called Dark Frontiers, Mountain Devil of the Absarokas. It's set up in the mountains of Wyoming, and it's definitely got our humor in it. Greg, I don't want to give this away because I want people to see it, but Greg got the scene where Declan walks up and knocks on the door of the cabin. That conversation actually happened between me and Robbie in Ohio last year.
I literally almost I was here by myself, and I read that, and I laughed harder and louder than I had in anything in the past year. Because I read that line and I was like, oh my God, he didn't. Because he's right. That we had that exact interaction a year ago. And I was like, that's hilarious.
And it was mainly because of that conversation that my wife said Robbie's no longer allowed to move to Missouri. He said, we'll drive her to drinking.
I didn't even start the conversation.
Do you guys have any? Do you have anything planned in real life as far as more places that you're going to go out to and poke around for cryptids and everything? And is it possible that like some of the stuff that you have planned, hey, I want to go here and check out this area, and then maybe in the future you'll end up writing about that, once you go
absolutely.
and actually lay eyes on the area?
There's a place here in Missouri I just found out about the other day. It's called the Devil's Ridge, and there are trails there that people hike.
Yeah.
And supposedly, according to the people that live in that area, there's one trail they've been telling people to stay off of because something screams at folks at night. So I'm going there as soon as I get a chance. And there's another place down south of Branson, Missouri, where allegedly a group of teenagers were chased by a group of bipedal mountain lions. And then the Missouri Department of Conservation got into a firefight with them.
In real life? This is real?
In real life. I just found out about this just a few months ago. And then, okay, yeah, that story in and of itself, you'd probably go, okay, that's a little weird. But the 4th of July weekend, I don't know about y'all, but around here, 4th of July weekend is a big camping weekend. A lot of people go camping. Yeah. This area where this sighting and incident supposedly happened has a campground. And the day before 4th of July, they inexplicably closed it and without notice and without date of it returning.
Where's this at?
Here in southern Missouri.
They went there doing that here too. Me and Mark and Sherry went into a place, and it was probably 30 minutes from my house. And it's always been open, always open for campers, all that. And I told her, so I've got a really good feeling about this place. I think we need to go check it out. Well, when we went, at this time, they were kind of closing all the park areas right there that kind of connected together. And they were just shutting them off so people couldn't go in there and camp. They were trying to say it was bears and this and that, but it was weird. We went in and was boogering one night, and the very next day or the very next weekend one that we went back, they had everything in there shut off. You could only just drive in the main road and drive in so far. No floods, no storms, no anything. It doesn't make any sense to me when they do stuff like that. You bear hunt and people hike all the time, and unless somebody gets hurt, they never shut stuff down for bears.
You notice the trend of that here in Missouri. There's numerous campgrounds that most of them belong to the Army Corps of Engineers that have been shut down without explanation, and any attempt to reopen them gets basically blocked. The old Joe Bald campground, you can still drive into it like that one, and if you went in with a cleanup crew and cleared out all the underbrush and the overgrowth and everything, you could probably camp there again. Most of those old concrete slab campsites, they were all primitive camping, no water, no electricity to them anyway. You could clear that out, probably still camp there. I mean, it's still in good shape. It's just overgrown.
Ain't no problem. We caught those people camping, or that guy camping one time we was in there.
Mm-hmm. Holmes Ferry, on the other hand, no, you cannot do that. Combs Ferry looks like somebody detonated a nuclear bomb in it. It is completely destroyed. They actually went so far as to bulldoze off the entrance so you can't get in there. We went in, we had to go in by boat in the middle of the night. But Combs Ferry, when we were in there, we found, those big concrete picnic tables you see at all those parks?
Yeah.
The top slab on that's probably 6 feet or more by at least 10 to 12 feet and 6 or 8 inches thick, probably weighs 2,000 pounds. We found one of those had been ripped off a table and thrown about 30 yards away.
Wyatt's got a picture of me standing on it, and I'm not a small guy, but I look small standing on that table.
Still had the pieces of rebar sticking out of it. Combs Ferry doesn't look like somebody went in there with heavy equipment. There's no marks on the concrete. It's just destroyed.
I know for a fact I've been to a place in North Georgia where the campground was closed down. I think that they did open back up part of it, but the campground was closed down, and that's why some of my friends got to looking at it. And whenever I was there in person, we absolutely found tracks and structure. They heard vocalizations, didn't get any recorded. I caught a hit on a thermal that's really interesting. I don't think I've ever shown that outside of the private group. And then here where I am, in a little bit further south of me, there's an area that was closed off right after they built that part of the campground. They closed that down. And again, same thing. You can find tracks in there. So I completely believe that there's something to state and federal government going in and closing it down whenever they know that there's activity there.
When we went into Combs Ferry, we hit all kinds of activity. Because we were using a bass boat to get us in there. We were only going in small groups. We ended up taking a group of 7 of us. Right after we hit the ground, the first 3 of us, which was me, Robbie, and my son Noah, we hit the ground first. We immediately heard stuff like moving around us. We're getting little rocks thrown at us. Noah got the parabolic out, and he was hearing like grunts and breathing. And as more and more people showed up, as we got the whole group over there, they backed off, just kept backing farther away. So we started down the side of the peninsula because it sticks out pretty far into the lake. We started down the side of the peninsula, went all the way down to the tip of it, and found partials and pretty good, like 18 to 19 inch tracks. But the ground was so dry because it was really hot. It was like all crumbled and cracked. You couldn't cast it. And the other one we found still had water in it, so there was no. I mean, it was like under like 2 inches of water, so there was no way to cast that one. But then we found that uprooted tabletop that had been thrown. And then Robbie, you're the one that found it. You and Wyatt. Why don't you tell what you found?
So, like DA said, we had about 7 of us out there, and Wyatt and I were in the back of the group as we were. I think it was after we found that track that was underwater in that big standing puddle or whatever. Wyatt and I had shuffled back to the back of the group, and we were just sitting there talking. You know, we were all under light discipline. No, we didn't have any lights on or anything. And we were walking and talking real soft. So Wyatt was to my left, and I'm looking at him as we're talking. And as I look at him, and I kind of stopped, and he walked past, and I saw just like a shadow or a shape in a tree, and I was like, that's not limbs. You know, even in the dark, you can see shapes and patterns and things like that. And I was like, that's not limbs. That's something in that tree. And I said, hold up, Wyatt. I said, watch your eyes. I'm gonna turn my light on. I reached up and clicked my headlamp on. And when I clicked my headlamp on, and now for context, this tree was about that big around, give or take. You know, not real big, but about 7 or 8 feet off the ground on these little limbs hanging that were on opposite sides of the tree. There is a deer hide. Now there's still leg bones attached as part of the hide, but there's nothing else like, you know, ribs and head and all that kind of stuff's gone. But there's still leg bones, or what's left of leg bones, attached to it. But it is just like draped over these limbs.
It was one of the front legs of the deer. It had been grabbed, twisted off, and yanked loose, and had gloved basically part of the hide of the deer.
So DA's up at the front of the group. So I did the little get his attention. He turns around and looks. I said, you might want to come back here and look and take a look at this. He said, what you got? I said, just come back here and look. You know, because you don't want to say, look at the deer hide or look at the track. You just say, you just want to let people make their own assumptions of things. I've heard you say that a 1,000 times, Spencer. You know, you don't put stuff in people's heads. So I didn't want to say, look at the mangled deer carcass. So I just said, just come back here and take a look. And he had a very colorful response to it, which everybody did that saw it. Steve had the most colorful response to all of it, because Steve was in that as we call it, paradigm shift. Yeah,
Steve was in a brain melting moment.
yeah, exactly. And so Steve looked at it and he was like, he looks at White and says, "Who found it?" And White said, "Robbie found it." Steve turns around and looks at me. One of my closest friends looks at me and says, "Fuck you, Robbie." And I'm like, "What did I do?" But he was because, and Steve being the nurse, being very grounded, very logical, he's sitting there and you can see the gears turning in his head because he's like, okay, what could do that kind of damage? I mean, you can see him just reasoning this stuff out, and you know this because you can see the smoke coming out of his ears. Love you, Steve. But and he's like, okay, this was mechanically separated. He said, short of an alligator doing a death roll on that thing's leg, I don't know what could have caused that kind of trauma to that deer's leg. Number one. Number two, what put it, because it's 6.5, 7 feet in the air on these limbs. Tree's not big enough for a mountain lion to go up. Not a decent sized one anyway. There's this, it's hot as what out there, and the blood on the tree is still red. The blood on the ground beneath it is still red. There's no flies around it. Nothing. So, Greg, what does that tell you as a hunter?
Tells me it ain't been there very long. Not long at all.
I give people hell on Facebook. I mean, we've all seen it, like all of the posts on Facebook and other social media where people will show, whatever, a deer up in a tree. And I'll be the first one to call out and say, hey, there are certain predators that will do that. Floods, tornadoes, there's other stuff that you have to rule out. But if you're talking about a hide torn off with the bones broke and then it's draped over a branch and it's fresh, did you say
check your Facebook Messenger? I sent you the pictures.
Okay, here we go.
This is the place that you said you had to go in by boat?
Yep.
So there's nobody else there hunting or anything.
This is after midnight.
Oh yeah, we were there from we rolled in. We first put in on the peninsula, but around 10 p.m. and it was like 3 or 4 in the morning when we left.
Did you guys have anything else happen while you were there? I mean, you said you had stuff thrown. Did you catch smells? Did you see eye shine?
Oh yeah,
we saw eye shine for sure.
We saw lots of eye shine.
Hey, Spencer, have you seen the movie Abominable? That little cheesy movie.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
You remember the scene when they're out there in the woods at the end, the deputy sheriffs?
Yes.
They all turn around and look behind them. That's about what we saw when we were pulling out off the island that night.
Wow.
Peninsula, whatever.
This was fresh. What's up with the fish head?
Well, that was on the other side of the trail, about 10 yards away. We call that the Missouri tree trout. The Missouri tree trout, you can tell it's been ripped in half, and it's in the crook of a sapling. That sapling's not big enough to hold up anything.
Yeah,
that is just a little like diameter of a quarter sapling, and we come to the conclusion that those were territorial markers because as soon as we passed that point, they got aggressive.
Can I show this picture? Just hold my phone up to the camera of the deer. Do you care?
I sent them for you if you want to upload them and show them on the show. That's fine. We've shown all of these on our show.
I can't do it on the fly like that, but just so y'all can see what they're talking about.
Yeah, you can still see the blood on one branch there.
That's down beneath it at the bottom. See the blood? That's the mangled deer hide. And man, there's the this is the destroyed picnic table that they're talking about. Sorry. I'll post the photos on like Facebook or something so that you guys can see. It's always impressive because right now you're hearing them talk about this, but you have to keep in mind that there are some of us, there's the fish head. Would you say that was 10 yards away or so?
Yeah, on the other side of the trail we were on.
you have to keep in mind, though, that there are some of us that do this for real. So whenever you're listening to them explain it, even though they're authors, I think it's necessary to put it into context. They're authors, but they're not just creating the stuff out of whole cloth. They're drawing from their actual real world experiences. And it's always fascinating whenever you're talking about it and somebody's like, hold on a minute, I'll show you a damn picture of exactly what I'm talking about, because they were there with other people actually experiencing it. So
can I share the stage with you? Can I do that? Can I share it to where you can put stuff up?
I don't
can
know.
or not, but I'd be happy to do it.
Wait a minute. Hold on. You know what? I know how to do it. Yeah, y'all keep talking for a minute.
Well, after we pass that point, we come to the conclusion that was a territorial marker. And as soon as we got past that point, I'm sure House has ran into this kind of stuff before. When you get, like, if you pass like certain points in the woods, not only did like what was left of the night sounds go away, but we started getting more rocks thrown at us. You could tell they'd stepped it up. And it was right about the time we passed that when Steve said, hey guys, I've hurt my leg. I don't know what I did. Come to find out, when Steve jumped off the boat, he actually broke one of the bones in his lower leg, but he didn't feel it for like over an hour.
Wow.
And he's like, my leg is really starting to hurt. So one of the guys that was with us was one of my old lieutenants from my last sheriff's department here in Greene County. His name is Estrella. And I went over to him. I'm like, hey, can you pull the GPS up, and let's take a look at the map of the area, because the area is big. And if what our plan was is from where we put in, we were Richard in the boat was going to back out and act like he was fishing, and he was going to come back to that same point and pick us up when we got all the way around the peninsula. But we hadn't even made it halfway when Steve said, hey guys, my leg is really starting to hurt. So Estrella and I pull up the map and I go, what do we got? So we're like zooming in and looking, and he said, this looks like an old boat ramp over here. And I can see it looks like broken up concrete. And I said, yeah, I think you're right. I think that is an old boat ramp. So I get on the radio. I'm like, hey, Richard, do you know where the old boat ramp is over here on the other side of the peninsula? He said, yeah, but it's going to take me a little bit to get there. That's pretty far by boat. And I said, well, just come on around, but don't come ashore until you see us there. And he's like, all right, I'm on my way. So we put Steve in the middle of everybody and kind of surrounded him with everybody that was armed, because we were all armed. And so we head out, and then we find the spots where they've bulldozed like piles of rocks and stuff to keep people out of there. We had to climb over some of that. And then we got over to the old parking area where the scene in the book where the deputy sheriffs run into to you guys. We get to that area, and that's where that boat ramp is at. So we get everybody over to the boat ramp, and at this point, these things are close. You can hear them. You can hear them breathing. Noah has been listening on the parabolic for a while. He kept hearing what he referred to as gibberish, or what Steve Lilly would call ghibli. But he kept hearing. He said, "Sounds like a language, Dad, but it doesn't make any sense. It's just gibberish." And so we didn't have a way to record the parabolic then. We're going back because we can now. But anyway, Noah's hearing all of this. He's hearing limbs breaking. We're getting rocks thrown at us. So we get over to the boat ramp. I call Richard in. We put Steve and one of my other lieutenants, Jenkins. We put him on the boat right away. Like, go. So they get him out of there. Now there's 5 of us. There's me, my son Noah, Robbie, Wyatt, who was with us, and my other lieutenant, Estrella. There's the 5 of us there. We're all armed. These things start coming in a little closer. You can hear rocks getting thrown. You can hear grunts. So boat comes back. Because we're much farther from our initial put-in point. Took the boat like 30 minutes to get back to us. Next group gets on, which is 2 more people. Now there's 3. The boat starts backing away, and I looked at Robbie, and I said, when the boat comes back, I want you and Noah on it. I said, he can only take 2 at a time. Because we found out when we first put into the arena that we went in by 3, and the boat just about swamped. It was a lot of weight in that boat. With 4 of us as 4 grown adults in a bass boat, it was just too much weight. Yeah. And Robbie's arguing with me. He's like, nope, your wife will kill me if I let you stay here by yourself. No, you're not staying. And I'm like, hey, this whole thing was my harebrained idea. I want to be the last set of boots off the ground. So we're kind of arguing back and forth. But as soon as the boat was gone and there's just three of us, here they come. They got close. So by the time the boat gets back to us, me, Noah, and Robbie are standing like almost knee deep in the water with our weapons out. Trying to cover every direction because they are around us. I mean, the woods grow right up to that boat ramp. So we're covering it. And the lake was way up at the time. And so the water was way farther up to the trees than it normally is. Usually there's a rocky beach. All of that was underwater. So we're all standing there with our weapons out. And here comes the boat. And as soon as the boat starts coming in, they backed off. And so as Richard pulls up, Robbie turns around and says, "Can you get all three of us on there to get us all out of here at the same time?" And Richard's like, "Yeah, but we're going to have to go slow because we damn near swamped last time." Robbie said, "Good, because we cannot leave one person here. If we leave one person, they ain't going to be here when we get back." So all three of us get on the boat. We're keeping our weapons out. We're watching the trees. We can hear them starting to move in as looks like we're getting away. Richard backs her out slowly out into the channel. The channel is about 280 feet deep. Table Rock Lake is deep. So we back out into the channel, and Richard just brings it to a stop, kind of lets us float there, and he has this big, like 1.5 million candle power spotlight plugged in the boat. And by this point, there's like a light fog on the water, and he lights that spotlight up and shines on the shore where we were just standing. And there was probably a dozen sets of green eye shine about 8 to 10 feet off the ground, right where we had just been. Literally right where we'd just been. And I tried to get pictures of it, but all you can see is the fog.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd have been like Leonardo DiCaprio in the movie Titanic at the end. I'd have been like, I'll hang on
to the edge.
Of the boat. Yep, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a butt puckering night. Probably one of the wildest experiences. Not the wildest, but one of the wildest experiences I've ever had out in the woods.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say next time it needs to be some pontoon boats or maybe a barge.
We're working on that. We're working on getting a pontoon so we can take the group in at a time, because I've got another area I'm wanting to get into that we're going to have to get in off of Lake Taneycomo, that I want to go into this cove. It's a hidden cove. There's no one's going to see it from the lake, and nobody's going to see it from the ground because it's miles back into the woods.
Yeah, tell them what the name of the cove is, or the.
It's called Wolf Hollow. So we want to get into this little cove and set up a base camp and expand out from there.
Yins are just asking to get ate.
That's the place where the
the
bipedal upright mountain lions were sighted.
Oh yeah.
Allegedly, a group of Missouri Department of Conservation actually opened fire on those things.
Misty, I've done told them I was game to go. Are you not going with me?
Heck yeah. I mean, I didn't say I wouldn't go. I just said they were trying to get eaten.
There's some places here. There's some places here in Missouri. Ask Robbie. I've taken him some places here in Missouri and there's some places I ain't even been yet that we need to get into.
I'm gonna tell you, Moon Valley's the creepiest place, and I've been to the LBL, but Moon Valley and DLT, I will. Where we were at, and talking to three of y'all, where we were at LBL, and going back to that, how creepy that is on that other side. I would camp over there by myself before I'd camp with people at Moon Valley. That's how creepy that place is.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty creepy.
Wow.
There's a couple places at LBL that are off the path. You got to know how to get there. That I've camped at that are similar to that. But speaking of the LBL and like what you guys were just talking about, whenever we were talking about the campgrounds being shut down, and a lot of times I do think that that's an indicator that there probably is activity right there. I mean, just my personal opinion on it. But you got to kind of wonder, though, there are places that a lot of people do know about, like, for example, LBL, where they don't close LBL down. And LBL is highly active at certain times of the year. And if you know where to go, it's highly active. They don't close it down. Almost makes you wonder if, do they close it down because there is activity happening, or do the cryptids come in after it gets closed down and nobody's going there? But at
Well,
LBL, you know,
in the case of the Joe Bald campground here in Missouri, when Steve and I first started researching why they shut it down, we found references to at least 8 disappearances in or around the campground. But then when I went back to pull those same cases for references for the book, they were gone. You couldn't find a one of them.
there's an area I've looked into that's in North Mississippi that's similar to that. Just to throw that out there, people.
Bobby, you want to tell them about the Moon Valley foray?
Sure. So now DA and I have been, and Noah, and I think, was it Nick or Nathan was with us? Was it Nathan that went with us?
With the blew the shofar?
Yeah,
that was Nathan.
So we had been there before, but Doc had never been there. So obviously, Doc wanted to hit some places he never got to go to. So we're like, well, let's go back to Moon Valley. It was creepy as all get out, and then you got the other story that from that area, from the Dallas County, what's that we ain't gonna, because I won't talk about them.
In 2020, there 2 guys went to prison for cannibalism in Moon Valley.
Yeah,
you can Google it. Google Dallas County cannibals.
We'll get into some of that in a minute, Spencer, because it's kind of part of the story. But so anyway, we go out, and the first time we got there, I think it was still just maybe an hour before it got dark.
Yeah, it was still light when we got there. First
so we sit there, and it's Moon Valley, so it's creepy the way you go. The way you got to go down into it's just like it's this big long.
When I tell you, Moon Valley is in the butt crack of nowhere. It is in the butt crack of nowhere. Like it's all gravel just to get there.
Yeah, the spot where we go sit or look with this little, it's got a little pull off where you can go park and people can get in the creek. And I think there's a rope swing or something over there in their DA. And there's just this little concrete bridge that drives across the middle of it. But it's like dead in the middle of this long gravel road. I mean, and either way you go, you got a ride to get out. Either way you go, one goes a little bit further up on top of a mountain, kind of to get out, and the other one kind of comes out closer to Bennett Springs. And so we're sitting there the first time, and it's like, not too much stuff's going on. Well, then DA looks at Doc, says, why don't we go to Bennett Springs, let you look around there first, and then by the time we go through there, look around, come back, it'll be dark. I'm like, cool, we can do that. So we go back to Bennett Springs, drive around, look at some stuff. DA was, told some stories and stuff that happened up there. We go back. By the time we get back, it's good and dark. So we start kitting up. Doc's got thermal on his helmet, and he's got an infrared trace on that too. We've all talked about, we think that they can see in the infrared spectrum. So we get out, get kitted up, and DA said, all right, I'm going to do some tongue clicks or tongue pops. He does a couple, like 3, I think. Nothing. No any kind of response from anything.
Have we told you guys about the tongue pops? Tongue pops?
I know Greg's heard it, but I don't know Spencer has. I think we may have.
We came up with the idea that not all Bigfoot tree knocks are actually made with wood. We think part of it is done with their.
You got muted again, DA.
Yeah, you're muted.
Yeah.
You're muted, DA. The last time he tried to do this, his microphone got muted somehow or another.
I didn't do it. I was muted, but I didn't touch it. It wasn't even showing he was muted. It is now. Now you're muted.
It is now.
Yeah.
Okay, how about, can you hear me?
Got you now.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we come to the theory that part of it's done with their mouth like this. Right. I did that at the Gatlinburg Bigfoot conference a couple of years ago, and the entire room went quiet and turned and looked at us.
Me, DA, and Eli are standing there talking. And
Eli from Small Town Monsters.
Y'all been to these conferences? It's like it's like a drone the sound and the buzzing that's going on around you. We're talking to Eli about that, and because I think that was like right after we had just started kind of formulating that theory. And DA said, "Yeah, we think it's this," and he does that. And dude, is like a pin. You could hear a pin drop because everybody within a 75-foot radius of us just stopped and went and looked.
And Eli goes, "That's exactly what I heard."
So,
well, I can tell you guys, from me being in the woods with these things a bunch of times, they do pop their mouth. I mean, I've heard it. That's all I could figure it was. But when you hear that, an actual tree knock,
Yeah.
it's like dynamite. It's like a rifle shot, and my God.
And we don't think all of it is tongue pops, but we think part of it probably is.
They're doing different things, and they do different things at different areas. In some areas, they'll do knocks. Other areas, they'll do crow calls or owl calls or whistles or the pops. Or
I've even heard one that sounded like it was slapping its chest like a gorilla.
Really,
it was kind of like a drum thump. I'm like, why does that sound like organic? And then I watched a video later of a gorilla doing that, smacking its chest, making a hollow thumping sound. I'm like, that's exactly what I heard.
So get back to the Moon Valley thing.
Sorry, I did kind of elaborate on that for the tongue pops, so you know what I was doing.
Okay. So DA's like, I'm gonna make some tongue pops. He does that. Don't hear anything. No response at all. Then Doc's like, well, I'm gonna do some owl calls, and he had done. He was doing some owl calls from stuff that was not indigenous to Missouri. Does it? Don't hear anything. I said, all right, well, I'm gonna do a couple whoops. Nothing. So we're all standing there like, well, it's just one of those nights, and we're just not gonna get any kind of activity. And I looked at D. I said, I said, I want to try something though. He said, what are you gonna try? And I said, I just want to try something. You open to it? And he was like, sure. Doc gets this, oh hell, look on his face. Because y'all know me, I don't think, I just do. So I cleared my lungs out, drew a big, deep, long breath, and did a howl. And not like I didn't try to make it like an actual wolf. I tried to make it a lot more like humanistic, but I tried to do it like what a werewolf would do, basically, is what I'm saying. The second I finished, we get 3 owl calls that perfectly mimicked what Doc had just done, but like baritone bass level, like the proverbial 1,000-pound owl.
Yeah.
We all were like, what the?
We're all 3 in the same spot?
Yeah. It was like, you could tell it was like, who, from the exact, it wasn't like you hear
from
one.
From way farther down the valley.
Yeah. But it was all in the same, I think the same creature did all 3 calls, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh, okay. This just got good. So Doc finishes gearing up, gets his helmet up, gets his thermal on. We start, walking up the trail. DA and I kind of, at this point, we were probably 15, 20 yards away from Noah and Doc, because Doc was still trying to get everything situated on his helmet and everything. Well, did he hear something at first, or he just flip him on and see that one off to our right at first?
We heard it. He heard it. We could hear him moving in the trees.
So Doc flips his thermal on, and he sees a flash of something to our right, up above the little parking area. And he's like, boys, you got one off, or got something off to your right, I think is what he said. Well, we couldn't see because, DA and I didn't have, all we had on was just little headlamps. Well, as Doc's looking this way and trying to find that, he turns around and looks back towards us, and he sees, and Doc and Noah had stopped moving, so Doc could kind of look and focus.
They were still out on the bridge over the river.
And of course, me and my brethren of considerable lack of intelligence beside me over here, we keep walking. So we've done widened said gap between us, Doc, and Noah to about.
At that point, we were probably about 50 yards away from them.
Yeah, we was a good ways away from them in the truck. Well,
Way
Doc,
too far for two fat boys to sprint.
Yeah. Doc turns back around to look at us, and when he looks at us, he sees us, and then he sees two very large heat signatures in the trees ahead of us.
Not very far ahead of
not
us.
very far ahead of us. So we start hearing, boys, whoa, hold up, boys, hold up. Because Doc's having one of them moments of, oh shit, I see what I see. Because in the famous line that came from that happened, what Robert D is referring to, that I heard, if I had a nickel for every time I heard this phrase after that, we'd all be sitting pretty. Because thermal don't lie was said no less than 500,000 times after that. Because Doc had a paradigm shift. He believed him, but he just never had he's had paranormal stuff, but he's never, I mean, look, he literally saw him on thermal. And as he said, thermal don't lie. Because he sees it, he goes to flip the infrared tracer on. As soon as he flipped that switch on that infrared, they started moving and trying to get back behind the tree, he said. So I think that's case point. They can see infrared just like deer. But,
and he tells us where they're at, and he turns off the thermal, and Robbie and I both click our headlamps on, and we see head and shoulders of these two very broad-shouldered, like sloped head, duck right back behind a tree as soon as we lit it up. And as I pointed at where I saw it, Doc's like, yeah, that's where it's at. So we shut the lights back off, and then Doc turns the thermal back on, and Robbie and I start moving closer, getting even farther away from the other two idiots on the bridge.
So, yeah. And then as we're going towards those, Doc starts scanning the area again. He actually sees the third one, the one he originally saw in the first, the flash one. It was trying to get around and come in behind and get in between me and DA and Doc and Noah. So when Doc sees that, it figures out what's going on. Then he's like, boys, back here now. Come on, get back. So DA turns back around. He says, we got one trying to flank us. Y'all need to get back over here now. So DA turns around to face them, grabs a hold of my back. So we both had our pistols drawn. So I'm walking backwards and he's guiding me so I can watch our back. And we work our way back down to the vehicle. And that's when the thermal don't lie stuff started happening, because Doc was just.
And you could hear him splashing in the river, because the river twists and turns through that valley. You could hear him crossing the river. You could hear him coming in closer. We don't know how many there were, but there were a bunch. And it got uncomfortable enough, we decided to get in the truck and get the hell out of there.
Yeah, it's all fun and games until one of you's wind up pregnant by a Bigfoot.
I don't think that's going to happen to either of us, but I still don't want to play big spoon, little spoon with Uckmuck.
If you were walking towards them and getting that close, I'm surprised you didn't get zapped. You didn't feel anything?
Not that I remember.
Nah.
Yeah, that's true, Kumba.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Thermal's a lot better than regular photos, because guess what? The thermal takes out the pareidolia.
Well, it was so profound to Doc, because he saw that was a helmet mounted, and he couldn't, he didn't have a way to slave it to anything. But that moment was so profound to him. He went out and spent $400, I think,
to get a recordable thermal.
Get a handheld unit that you can.
Well, and the body heat was really standing out, because this was in late January when we did this, so it was cold. There was frost on the ground. There was ice in the water. The thermal was standing out because the outside ambient temperature was probably 38.
Thermal don't lie. Yeah. All of the that's why quite a few of us had the AGMs, is because you could control it remotely from a tablet or your phone, and you can also record it on the phone, and you can adjust so one person can be walking up ahead, the other person can be back 100 feet and still seeing what you're seeing with the thermal, and it all syncs and records real time. Something else about the thermals, though, that should be pointed out, a lot of people, everybody always thinks that thermals only work during nighttime. They work during the daytime just as well. Not as good in summer, but they work during the daytime and nighttime, and way different than night vision. Night vision nowadays, I don't know why anybody would even waste. I shouldn't say that. It's better to have night vision than to have nothing at all, but there is a world of difference between thermal and night vision. Even like Greg said, the pareidolia, you can still get pareidolia with the night vision, just like you can seeing it with your naked eye. But the thermal, I mean, you're looking at something there. I do always find it fascinating how many people talk about they couldn't see something with their naked eye, but could see it on like their phone or a camera. There's something weird going on with that. I don't quite understand it, but I've seen it firsthand, so I know it's true.
Well, look at the Paul Freeman footage. That Bigfoot is moving, and it stops in front of a tree and just disappears.
Yeah.
And as soon as it realizes he's still coming, it starts moving, and you can see it again.
Yep. And, we talked about adaptive camouflage all the time. How many deer have you ever shot that you didn't see them moving first?
Oh, yeah. What are you talking about? Yeah, they just pop out 20 yards in front of you. Where the hell did that come from?
Exactly.
You didn't see a damn thing till it moved.
And, the other thing about the thermal is people can say all day long. Personally, I've never seen proof myself of them cloaking. I'm open to the possibility that they can do it. I do think that there's a higher likelihood that they can mess with your brain or your mind and make you just not realize what you're looking at whenever you're looking at them. But again, the thermal, you're looking through that thermal, you get that heat signature. I mean, there's no discrepancy. That's a real living thing whenever you're looking at it through the thermal and you're seeing it move. So the countless benefits of having a thermal is my point. Everybody should have it. And if you guys are going out in teams like that and you're getting 50 yards apart, you need to have more than one, jackasses.
Well,
I think Stacy Brown is legitimate.
Something to be said for smarts, and me and DA never said we had any of those.
We ain't the brightest bulb in the pack. In fact, we've gone into some places that were pretty hairy. Right before we went into Combs Ferry, my wife looks at us. She goes, "I don't care what happens to you two morons, but you bring my baby home."
That's what's. I mean, it's fun just going and not taking off after anything or checking stuff out. I mean, ain't that right, Robbie? You gotta wander off.
Oh yeah. I mean,
look, Misty's the ultimate wanderer. You have to keep an eye on her because she'll just be like zoned in. And I don't think sometimes she realizes her feet's moving. It's just like she just starts wandering away.
Well, Robbie has a tendency of doing that. That's why my son Noah has the nickname the official Robbie Wrangler.
Yeah.
But I know what I'm doing. And I can't help it, Greg. It's just that you know the cop mentality. Something happens, and I can't do that and go the other way. I have to go that way, and I don't know. It just
Misty,
feeling like you just got to go that way, don't you? I mean, you got to go check it out. Something's telling you, hey, come here, just come here.
No, usually something's telling me, what the heck are you doing, idiot? Go the other way, and I'm like, no, I'm going over there.
It has netted us some good evidence, though.
Yeah.
Like the hunting blind and the 7-inch canine track.
Yeah. That was the night that Noah officially earned his job, because Noah was worried because I was steady going down into that thick woods, and he's like, and he's looking back at. I think that was probably like the first time Noah had really ever hung out with or we knew each other.
Yeah.
But that's the first time he'd ever like hung out with me. And he's looking back at DA going and looking at me. He's like, I don't want to leave Dad, but I don't want to let Robbie go. So
I really think that that night I believe it was a dog man that we ran into in Joe Bald, and I truly think it was trying to get us to split up.
it about accomplished its mission.
It just about did, because if you'd have kept going right down there, you'd have went right by that hunting blind we found the next day.
Yep.
Where
You would have walked. You would have walked into it in the dark
With the fresh track that we found in it. Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, we found a hunting blind. Well, Robbie found it. It looks like a giant deer's nest, not deer's nest, giant bird's nest on its side, woven into the brush. And he crawled inside it and crouched down and couldn't touch the sides. It was massive.
So how about that is how this was right before he had his, or not right before, but before he had his heart procedure. So DA couldn't walk a whole lot at that point. He could walk a little bit and he'd have to sit down. So when we went back out there the next day after that, the night before, he was still kind of tired from the night before. And he was like, I'm going to sit down on this rock here. He said, y'all go explore around, do whatever. So I took
Call me if you find anything.
Yeah. Holler if you find anything. So I took Noah and we kind of just worked our way around looking for any kind of signs. We found, a few scuffs. We found some stuff where some bark was rubbed off the top of a tree or high up on the tree, like maybe something was holding on to it. There's another tree like right across the ground in front of that tree. Like something knocked, or the heel of something had stepped over and knocked the bark off, which, could have been somebody stepping over it. Who knows? While we're sitting there looking at that and I'm explaining all this stuff to Noah, I kind of look up and I see what DA said. It's like a bird's nest. Instead of sitting like this, it was sitting like this. And I was like, but it was huge. And, it just kind of went right in. There's a game trail and this thing's like right off the game trail. And I'm like, so I went over and looked, and there's coon tracks and there's deer tracks and all kinds of stuff on this little game trail. And it goes all the way back down towards the lake. So, I'm like, I said, this looks like some kind of hunting blind or something. I said, go get your dad. So Noah goes over there and gets D8. He comes back over, and I'm like, what's that look like to you? And he's like, looks like a big-ass bird's nest sitting on its side. So I crawled into it, like you said, and I got down on my knees, and I stretched my arms out to the side, and it was about 1.5 feet on each side that and I couldn't touch the side, and I did like that and couldn't touch the top of it. So it was big. So I looked at DA and I said, y'all go back up that game trail and 10, 15 yards and then walk back down this way and tell me when you can see me. And I had on a black hoodie, had a camouflage ball cap and camouflage pants on, but he knew where I was at. So he goes up the trail, turns around, and cannot see me, and knows exactly where to look because he just left there and still can't see me. And he's like, dude, I can't see you. I said, well,
I came back down the trail. I got within 10 feet of him before I could see him, and I knew what to look for. Had I been bipping down that trail unaware of it, never would have noticed anything in it.
Did the opening to the blind go towards the trail? So if you were in the blind, something going down the trail could have reached out?
Yep.
What was it made out of? Well, I assume it was woven together.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just like it.
Well, there was a couple of big bushes there, but there were other bush branches that had been woven together. Yeah. So it was made out of two living bushes, but at the same time, it also had other branches woven into it.
There you go. All right. So it did have something living that was like bent over and stuff was woven into that.
It's like if you got all these living ones that are back behind here, and they were all pulled together, and then to make it more dense, is what DA was talking about. There's other stuff that had been woven.
Those were Missouri bramble bushes. Those aren't, you don't mess with those.
So while we're sitting there talking, I'm still in here, and DA standing up in front of me, and I'm down on my fist because I'm talking. I said, if I'm sitting here waiting like this, for something to come around, I said, you can't see from either side. And I happened to look down just to see how wide my stance was. And when I did, I was like,
it's all raked.
And no, it wasn't. But
It wasn't.
I raked a leaf out of the way, and I hear DA said, "No, you didn't." And I said, I backed up. I said, "What does that look like right there?" And for DA, because he was saying, Noah's like a big ass dog print, and I don't have the knife that I actually had late, but
The Jolly Roger house, the Jolly Roger knife from Scallywag.
about that big. I laid that Jolly Roger down beside it, and it's the blue handle one. I laid it down beside it, and that track was like this is the Jolly Roger here. The track was like bigger than the knife.
Dang.
How
Well,
big?
Robbie, did it look just like kind of like round, like a dog track? Or was it long or what?
It looked. I mean, it was identical to what you would see on any dog. It was just. I mean,
the base pad seemed a little bigger, but
was the base pad further back or elongated?
The base pad seemed wider than you would naturally expect.
But it was still up close to the toe pads.
And you could see the imprints from the claws too.
So we're talking about, if this thing's 7 inches, a normal styrofoam plate's only like 9 inches. Mm-hmm. That's massive.
Well, I showed that,
and it was a good half inch into the ground.
Wow.
When, not that one, but I asked, Ken Gerhardt, because Ken's, he's an actual wildlife biologist. So I said, "What's the biggest wolf track you've seen in the wild?" He said, "About 4.5 inches, somewhere close to 5." He said, "That's the biggest wild wolf track he's ever seen."
Wow.
And that one was a good bit bigger than that.
Just a touch.
One thing for sure, damn sure wasn't Scooby-Doo, was it?
No, it were not.
Yeah, but they were almost the Scooby snacks.
Damn right. Well, Robbie was. He was heading down that game trail when Noah wrangled him back.
Was there you didn't see any hair? There was no smell inside there or anything like that? No bones or anything laying in there?
Not that I saw.
No, I don't remember smell, because that was in the winter time too. And
it was November. It was in November that first year you came down.
I don't remember any distinct smell.
But the night before, we'd seen eyes shine about 8-9 feet off the ground in that area.
And this is not far from where he did the Joe Ball breakdown video, where they where he's talking and you see that canine figure in the tree behind him when he's down there doing the book promotion. This is like literally
20 yards from there.
Yeah. No more than 75 yards from where that was at.
Yeah, it's right there in that same area. Also, we found what looked like the front license plate had been ripped off of a car, and it was brand new. Like it had been just like 2 months old. So somebody got down there and got the front plate ripped off their car. Don't know how, but it was a brand new plate, like 2 months old.
I agree, Buster and Phyllis. Y'all can have the damn dog, man.
So if I go up there and we go with Dia and them to check on that place, you ain't going with me and Misty?
I would go to be able to see it. I don't
didn't say nothing about cats.
Dog, man.
Well, that's right. That's Catman. You'll be okay.
Bad kitty, that's my pie.
Yes.
Spencer be like the old bulldog on Tom and Jerry. You all right? Yeah. He just scratched me and falls into multiple pieces.
That's how I'll die in the books. Hey, you guys have both been to LBL, and DA, you actually had a dogman sighting at LBL. Did you happen to see Joe and Pat's thermal capture?
I have not.
LBS.
I need to watch that.
You do need to watch it. It's impressive. That's some impressive thermal right there.
You send me a link to it?
Actually, it's on our show. They've been on multiple shows. We had them on our show a couple weeks back.
I'll send you a link.
Okay.
But yeah. So after you climbed out of the doggy hut, anything else happen?
Oh, there's a lot of stuff happening. That was the very first time I'd ever went down there. So there's plenty of stuff happened after that. But that specific or that particular day, I think that was the only thing we found during the day. Because it was the night before we went to Blunt Road and found the deer head.
Mm-hmm. We were driving down to there's one of the Lakeview Men books is called The Beast of Blunt Road. That's a area outside of Galena, Missouri, in the butt crack of nowhere, right on the James River, just before it empties into Table Rock Lake. And there's lots of creepy sightings down there. There's even an Ozarks howler sighting down there, which is why I chose that location for the book. We're driving down there, and it was me and Noah and Robbie. Noah was in the back seat. Robbie was in the passenger seat. I was driving, and I had my long beams on. And we're heading down this. I mean, the trees are so overgrown over the road, it's like you're driving through a tunnel. And it's pitch black. There's nothing down there. And I see something in the road, and I start slowing down. And I wear bifocals, so, my night vision isn't always the best. So I start slowing down, and I'm like, Robbie, what the hell is that in the road up there? And he leans forward, and he's looking, and he goes, that looks like a deer head. We get up there. Sure enough, it was a deer head. It was missing its eyes. It was missing its tongue and its lower jaw, and it had been pulled off, not cut off, and still had a big chunk of the hide on it, like something had grabbed the hide and just pulled it off like a glove.
Well, how old did it look?
It was fresh, no rigor.
Wow.
And it didn't stink either.
You got stump broke. King Kong bars. What is that?
Spittle Cave.
Oh, that's another place here in Missouri. We'll see about getting to that. We got so many stories. We keep you guys going for hours.
Oh, I know. I was just wondering if there was anything after you found the giant dog trap.
Oh, I think we
did.
found it. I think it's 6 or 7 deer that have been pulled apart, not cut apart, pulled apart. We found them at Joe Bald. We found them in Combs Ferry. We found them at Blunk Road.
And Marianne found one done exact same way of what we were finding when I went down to that BFRO thing to teach a tracking class.
Mm-hmm.
She found a deer leg done looked exactly.
And that's on the same river as Moon Valley, just farther down.
I've never seen it in person, but I've had plenty of people show me videos and pictures and talk about finding deer with the broken legs and the broken necks. I've never seen one actually torn apart, dismembered. The closest thing I've seen is I did see a mini horse that had a giant hole punched like right through it from its chest all the way to its back, and its neck was broke.
Jesus told it. Well, he was on last time he was on the show. He was talking about that. Was it 1,200-pound horse?
Yeah, it was a full-grown horse on the Navajo reservation.
Had its whole back leg torn off at the hip. That's a lot of power to do something like that.
I'd take a tractor. I mean, you're talking power to pull that off.
Do you know that they happen to find, if they were looking at that, so the horse died, I'm assuming, and they're
it was already dead when they found it.
Did they find any odd scratch marks up on its neck or on its rear haunches? Did they say anything about that?
He said that it looked like it had just had its whole rear leg torn off and they got out of there.
Yeah, I don't blame them. Sorry. I was just looking at some of the comments over here, seeing if we missed anything. Where's it? Open buffet for boogers. Yeah, it probably is, but what are you going to do about it? Robbie and
Yeah.
DA, you heard about the dogman sighting several years ago in the Tuskegee National Forest?
I think we talked about
so.
that at one.
I think we did.
I think so. I remember somebody saying something about the Tuskegee National Forest.
I think that we did read that one. That one sounds really familiar.
Look at there. There's Squatch and Cowboy done showed up.
Yo. Hey, buddy. So you guys think you're about 50-50 on the dogman versus boogers?
I like going out and looking for both, but it's been our experience that when you're looking for one, it's very often you run into the other because they share the same hunting grounds, a lot of the same food sources.
Yeah, and it seems like the first time we were in Joe Bald, we're both 100% sure that was a dog man. And then, but in Combs Ferry, no doubt in my mind that it was some type of Bigfoot.
When those are on the opposite side of the lake from each other and miles apart.
Yep.
The only thing I wonder about is I do wonder if they, I wonder if they're in the same area and they're aware of each other and cooperating, or I wonder if one type runs the other type out of the area.
To me, I think it's probably like a grizzly bear and a mountain lion. They might hunt the same area, but they will probably even chase each other off of kills if they can. But I don't think any sign of them working together. I think it's more like they tolerate each other and avoid each other.
Yeah.
Just a random question. I know you guys have caves. Well, in the Missouri area, anyway. I know there's a ton of caves. I've long thought from various things that I've talked to people about. I think there's a strong reason to believe that dogmen are burrowing and having an underground spot that they stay in. Have you guys seen anything like that? Have you seen anything underground that would be, boogers? I've only heard one person talk about boogers as far as like digging in river banks and creek banks and getting up underneath there. But have you seen anything in Joe Bald that, or any of these areas you're talking about with the dogman stuff? You seen any?
Missouri's riddled with caves. I mean, there are thousands of caves. Some probably a lot we haven't even discovered yet. But and Missouri Department of Conservation has acted real weird about some of the caves. And one of the ones was one you mentioned earlier. It's called Smiddle Cave. And when I was in high school, I was in a cave crawling group. We'd go exploring caves all over the state. And Smiddle was one of the caves we wanted to get into. It's supposed to be the 5th largest cave in Missouri. And when we went out there, the Smiddle family still owned it. And I actually got to talk to the family. But if you read the version that's on the Missouri Department of Conservation's website, it makes it sound like the Smiddle family, out of the goodness of their heart, donated the land because of the endangered brown cave bats. That ain't the case. There was a protracted court battle. Smiddles didn't want to give up the land. I mean, it's been in their family for generations, since like the Civil War. Missouri took it. And they put bars over the entrance of this cave. Now, I'm talking a cave you could drive a semi into. This cave is huge. You could drive a full-on semi into the mouth of this cave. There's a small creek that comes out of it that rarely ever floods up higher than just a small creek. But you could literally drive a big truck into the mouth of this cave. And they said there were endangered brown cave bats, and they're all over Missouri, these brown cave bats. In fact, I don't even think they're endangered anymore. But the Smiddles lost their land because of this bat. Well, because of the bat. And if you were going to cover a cave just to keep people out, you could probably do it with like a chain link fence, right?
Yeah.
They put they put a 50 to 60 foot embedded in concrete and solid rock. Steel, like heavy steel, like this big, all the way across 60 feet up.
60 feet?
Yeah, here, I'll send you a picture.
Maybe they were expecting some big back women to go climbing across the fence. I don't know.
That almost sounds like, I don't think he said it. Well, he's in chat, but Kumbo, that sounds a lot like what they did to the cave on your property, except for it wasn't 60 feet. I don't think.
Well, my question, if they put it that high up, you would have thought that they would have been worried about that inhibiting the bats from flying in and out.
Oh, there's a big gap at the top. The cave is much taller than the gate. But
okay.
Damn, that must be a big cave.
Oh, yeah. Hang on a second. Let me grab those images and I'll send them to you. And Spencer, the one I'm about to send you has a person in the image for scale. Let me send this to you. If I can find where I downloaded the damn thing.
There you go again. You got so much crap on your computer.
I've really got a better file organization. Here we go. Check your Facebook Messenger there.
Oh, wow.
They ain't playing around.
Yeah,
you cannot convince me that's for bats.
That's a pretty big. It's a pretty heavy duty structure. It is a big cave too.
Yeah, but my thing is there mesh at the top of that? Because I mean, don't bats fly? Seems like they're going to just go right over.
No, there's no mesh at the top.
That makes a lot of sense.
Government folks is good at blowing smoke. Yeah. Well, how many of y'all, since the show's been on, how many of y'all went over to Amazon and got your copy of their books? Come on, somebody do it. Be the first one. Go over there, get a Kindle copy, and post in the comments.
Yes. Here's the deal. We didn't write the book, but since we characters in it, next month, August the 16th, is going to be the Tennessee Wildman Conference. It's in McMinnville, Tennessee. I'm planning on going, and I hope Misty's going to be going with me. We're going to try to go up there and meet and greet some folks. Yeah, we're going to try to go meet and greet with some folks. And so here's the deal. If you get a copy of the book, bring it up there. I'll scribble my John Herbie Hancock in it. I didn't write it, but by God, I'm in it. Look there. Watch me go. Well, I get Nancy for her name. She'll draw hard around it.
I was thinking if I can get a few of those ordered in. I've got to get them some shipped here to the house. If I can get a few of those ordered in, maybe I could sign it and then send them to one of you guys, and you guys could sign it. You could give it away on your channel.
Yeah. Awesome.
Sure can. Be happy to do it.
That would be great.
Also, for any of you folks that like audio books, that don't like to sit and read, but like to listen while you're driving or working, all of the books are now available on audio.
That's great, man.
Yep.
I mean,
that way,
all of his, all mine are all on audio.
That's
if my hook on phonics falls through, I can always fall back on that.
If they're all on audio now, that's no different than anybody sitting here listening to a podcast. And this way you're actually supporting the people that you know and hopefully like, and you're contributing to the whole thing overall. So go grab the audio version of it.
Well, here's the cool thing about that. Here's the cool thing. It's summertime. Everybody's going on vacation. If you got a long travel, get that audio book, Bluetooth it through your dang stereo speakers, and truck on down the road and have DA's book playing.
Heck yeah.
That's what I do every time I got to drive 10 hours to LBL or 9 hours down to Alabama. I listen to the podcast and, try to scare the shit out of myself before I can get there.
Oh, no. I think St. Roger said it. Hey, y'all listening, been sick. He ain't got rabies, has he?
What's wrong?
Well, I missed that.
watch this on the big screen. You don't want to do that, Joe. Oh, I'm sorry, Kath. She's
I
sick
hope you
too.
feeling better.
Golly, Catherine, get better. You and Roger both.
That's a good question. Who is the person reading the audiobooks?
I don't know, because most of them are released through what Amazon has an AI that will read books, and the author will make more money that way. So I did that with most of them. I picked out the AI. I don't know who it is that's actually read it, but I tried to change the voice up on some of it. Different series have different narrators, but it's all Amazon AI except for the few that I already had out. That were narrated. But the problem is on Audible, Amazon Audible, if you did it the old way, Amazon took 75% of the royalties right off the top. And you had to split the remaining 25% with the guy that narrated it for you. So as the author, you're making 12.5% off a book you wrote. That's insane. But with this AI voice, granted, it's not as good. It has trouble with certain pronunciations, but it still does a pretty good job. I make about 40% that way.
I just thought maybe
I can do that for you for nothing. Look, as long as you're okay with not pronouncing the words right, I got you.
You
clearly have not listened to Cam. Cam don't even come close sometimes, but I love it.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Me up trying to pronounce Mjolnir.
Yeah. And instead of Thunder God, he says Thunder Guard.
Man, everybody got to love Cam.
Oh, yeah, he's the best.
He's got a distinct voice, for sure. First time Cam ever showed up at a camp that I was at, he pulled in. We were all talking. I didn't know that he had pulled in. He pulled in, and I'd never met him in person before, but whenever he got out and said something along the lines of, "Phew, I'm glad to be here," I heard that voice. I whipped around, and they started telling some of the stuff around the campfire, some of his stories, and it was just like watching a YouTube video, listening to him.
Hey, look, Kim's talked me to sleep over the last 3 or 4 years. I don't know how many times, because I'd flip it on one of his podcasts trying to go to sleep, and that's the way I'd go to sleep. I'd be listening to him reading stories or talking about stories.
I know you guys don't watch all of our shows all the time because there's just too much stuff going on. But did you see the episode by any chance where Misty was trying to talk about the movie Nell, where the girl speaks her own language? Was it Jodie Foster?
Yeah, that was Jodie Foster.
Yeah. Well, Misty kept saying nail. And everybody's like, what the hell is she talking about?
That's
nail, like a hammer and a nail. Say it, Squirrel.
Nail.
Say it.
Nail.
Say it.
Nail. What are you supposed to say?
Nell.
Nail.
Nell.
Nail.
Hey,
Nail.
Spencer. She's way better at nail than she is Pentecostal or moccasins.
I used to work with a guy who was one of the officers I worked with in the jail was from the Ukraine. A great dude, but he great to work with, but he was like laser focused all the time. And he had been in the Russian military, had trained Spetsnaz. And he was I'm like laser focused. When we had another officer whose last name was Branscombe, and he could not say it. We'd say Branscombe. He'd go, Nebraska. No, not Nebraska. Branscombe. Nebraska.
Oh man.
Presbyterian.
Yeah.
No,
well,
it's not. It was
Episcopal.
Yeah, that.
Say it. Just try to say it.
Wasn't that the name of a guy that used to be on Saturday Night Live?
Episcopal. Episcopal.
Yeah, Joe Episcopal.
It's despicable. Espicable. I don't freaking know.
Listen, real quick. Say, I think I saw a putty tat. Say,
No.
I thought I saw a putty tat. I did see a putty tat.
despicable.
I can't say Mossicans either. Can't help it.
Moskistons.
The one always I have trouble with is that the W sauce.
Yeah.
I can't say that would save my ass.
What'd you call it that day? Was that me? You know right now, worst sister sauce.
Yeah, Worcester sauce or whatever that. Yeah, so you know what it is. Quit making fun of me.
Yeah,
You know what the hell I'm saying.
He said, "Yeah, that worst sister sauce." I said, "What?"
And you're an author.
I can spell it. I didn't say I could pronounce it.
Man. Well, Da, a lot of the names for a lot of the characters in your book, did you just come up with those off the top of your head on the fly, or how?
It depends on the character. Like if it's a Native American character, I will actually research genealogy on that tribe and pick names based on those actual tribal names. But if it's somebody that's, say, for example, Russian, I will go to a website and look for Russian surnames, Russian family names, and that kind of thing. But in cases where they're based on real people, like for example, Daniel Clark is based on a real guy. His last name is Clark, but his first name isn't Daniel. So there are a lot of them where they are literally named after the people that they're based on. Daniel Clark, real dude. I swear to God, that dude was born with a freaking handgun in his hand. Because I've never seen anybody shoot better than that guy. He smoked me. Oh my God, he smoked me when we would go out to qualify. The instructors on the firing range, the range masters, would tell him to open his group up so they could count the shots.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
They never said that to anybody else. They'd tell my dumb ass, like, hey, if you try a little bit, you could probably tighten that group up some. They didn't tell him that. They're like, hey, can you stop shooting the center out of the target so we can count your bullets? How do we know if you missed? I didn't miss. Well, we know you didn't, but we got to count them.
Steve, Da, I had a guy that we shot a qual course over here in Hamilton, Alabama. His old man had a private range. We were over there, and they thought, well, hey, we're going over here to check out the range. We'll just qualify. And I had just got that Glock 34, and the first target
I want a 34.
The first target I shot, the guy was, he walked down there to the targets and he was counting them, and he goes, "Looks like you got an 88." I went, "What?" He said, "That's all I can count." He said, "How am I supposed to score this?" And he took his ink pen, stuck in the hole, and went like that. He said, "I can't count the holes." And I learned a lesson then. I thought, well, and believe it or not, that's the lowest I've ever scored on a range, was because I ate out a hole in the middle.
My buddy Clark got to the point where he would like draw smiley faces on the head and then like draw symbols on the chest. He just, he put a peace symbol in the middle of one of them one time. I mean, just that kind of shit could be a smart ass, because they're like, you got to tighten open that group up so we can count these rounds. So he'd like put a peace sign in the chest or smiley face on the head or just crap like that, because he's, we know he's good.
Yeah. Back then I was shooting average about 250 rounds a week, and that's what it takes. I mean, if you get out there and you put enough rounds down target, your grouping will tighten down there. But by the lack of time and the price of ammo, I slowed down. I still shoot some, but I've got to get back on the range more.
I got a video of me shooting my Lieutenant's 500 Magnum, the Smith & Wesson 500. And I cock it, point it, let fly. And the first round you hear me go, Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
I was not expecting the amount of recoil I got off that thing. But I went ahead and kept shooting it. Hell, I shot it a few times. He said most everybody shoots 1 or 2 rounds and they're done. I'm like, hell, keep loading that bitch. I'll shoot it all day if you let me.
Man.
I love it.
Place around here.
There's a place here in town called Sigwo Arms. They're one of our affiliates now. They're actually building me an AR pistol, which is going to be very nice.
Oh wow!
But yeah, it's going to be a Wild Hunt edition. It's going to be Cerakoted OD olive drab, and it's going to have the Wild Hunt logos on it. Dude, I'll send you pictures. But yeah, they've got the license to do it. They're the only one I've ever licensed to do Wild Hunt gear. But and they've got like a full line of suppressors and everything. But every few months they've got their own range. They host a shooting event where you can shoot automatic weapons or silenced weapons.
Well, let me ask you this: could you please send me a link to where somebody could purchase one of these?
Sure, absolutely.
A Wild Hunt AR. Do either of y'all just curious? Do you own a 10 mil?
I have a
Doc's
40 cal, but I don't have a 10 mil.
Doc's got a 10.
Doc's got a
You
10.
do?
I've got a retired sheriff's department Glock 22 40 cal.
Yeah. I was looking at that. I've never even pulled the trigger on one. I was just wondering what it
I like
is.
the 40 cal. It's got plenty of power.
Yeah. I just
Yeah,
figured.
Just go big or go home, Spencer.
Within limits, it's not like I want a Kazoo or anything, but
I'd show you my most recent one, but I don't want to pull a firearm on the air because you'll lose monetization if I do.
well,
Yeah.
We're gonna have to send Spencer a little pocket pistol. It's more your size.
Hey,
Get him a Glock 26 with a pink lower.
if you take one of us out in the books, can it be that I accidentally killed Misty in the books? Can you change it?
she just used some type of magic.
It would only be because you were playing with my bigger gun.
We'll take bids on who gets to kill who.
No,
But right,
hey,
I got to warn you though. Right now, Spencer, Misty's in the lead because she sent me some homemade stuff that helped me smooth out that scar from when I had the implant put in. So she's already up in points. So just saying.
she's a resident witch doctor.
I make custom knives. I'll send you one.
Woohoo! Okay, that might shift the balance right there.
I'll stoop to some deep levels if it means I can, kill her in the books. That'd be brilliant.
That's what I need to do in my contacts on my phone. I need to change Misty's to where when it rings, it goes ooh ee ooh ah ting ting walla walla bing bang.
Yes.
I'll send you a picture of my feet, and you can put that up too.
She's serious. Let's not go down this path again. I'll show people pictures off my phone.
Well, look, she came down here 2 weeks ago.
Inside joke, y'all. I'm sorry.
Y'all, she came down here 2 weeks ago. I was so proud of her. She had 2 pistols with her. Had 2 of them.
Hey, you never know when you might need an extra one.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm not trying to outdo anybody, but I got 4 within easy reach.
Yeah.
That's right.
DA, I don't think
That's not what's counting in the other rooms.
I don't think me and you together are going to outdo Greg, though.
I don't think me and you together are going to outdo Doc. Doc's got over 200.
Holy shit.
He's ready, ain't he? That, I'm pretty prone to. I've got several, but now look, y'all. I mean, like in my truck right now, there's an AR and 3 handguns in my truck that usually ride there everywhere I go. I mean, I don't want to lose a fight because I'm outgunned, and I usually keep a couple of 1,000 rounds of ammo in the toolbox.
It pays to. You put enough years behind a badge. Yeah, you want to be prepared. I mean, hell, my wife and I will still go into restaurants to this day. I've been retired 5 years. We'll go into restaurants to this day, and I'll glance back in the kitchen and go, "Nope, not eating here."
Well, the one thing that made me really keep up with always having something on me is whenever we come back from bear hunting one time, and it was just me and Sherry, and we actually went to on the way home, we stopped at a place that we booger at, walked in, and it was just me and her and my little beagle, and we actually came out right as it was dark. We stayed in there and got further back in than what we expected to. And we seen headlights where her car was parked. And I was like, Sherry, the game warden or somebody may be up here, which I mean, it didn't matter. We wouldn't do anything, but just, walking the lake bottoms and stuff. But when we come out, there was somebody parked behind us and they had their headlights on bright and freaking, you couldn't see anybody there. When we finally got to where we could see somebody in there, it was a big SUV. And there was somebody in the passenger seat and they were sitting with the lights on bright. And then whoever was driving wasn't even in the vehicle. So they were off in the woods somewhere because the dog was looking around. And that was really scary, knowing that we were where we were with no phone signal, nothing, and just us two women. And we come out and who knows how many people's in the woods beside of us. Because the thing is, I just seen that vehicle earlier in the day and they were actually deer hunting. And I know they had rifles on them. So that was kind of scary, which, I mean, we were carrying too, but still yet, we made sure when we went to get in the vehicle, we let them know that we weren't just helpless trying to, hurry and get in the car. I mean, I took mine out and laid it on the side. I was muddy. I fell down in the mud, of course. So Sherry's like, get in the truck. And I'm like, change your clothes. I'm getting muddy. And we just kind of kept an eye on everything. But that's scary.
We tell people all the time, if you're going out, whether you're going out looking for Bigfoot or looking for deer, there are things in the woods that can and will kill you. Wolves, bears, mountain lions, snakes, and the worst of all is the greater North American meth head. You never know when you might walk up on something. And
exactly.
There are things out there that can and will kill you or can and will eat you. So be prepared. We tell everybody take something to defend yourself with. If you're in a state that one of those backward ass states that won't let you carry a handgun, carry bear spray, carry a knife, carry a hatchet. And we also tell people take a med kit because it don't take much of an injury out off the trails to make you impossible for you to get back to the car.
Yeah.
And you might not have 911 where you're at. And we've been lots of places where the cell phone's just it's there for time.
Yeah, around here the signal is you pretty much got no 1-1.
I like that. Yeah, I like the Longmire I am 911.
Yeah.
On the med kit issue, you should also be carrying that not for yourself necessarily, but for other people. You never know when you're going to run into somebody else that may need medical attention as well.
I keep a large trauma kit in my car, and whenever we go out, everybody has a trauma kit. Everybody.
I keep a trauma kit.
Including tourniquets.
In all vehicles.
You never know what might happen. There again, we were bear hunting, and I ran into a stick trying to hurry and get through the woods, and it was just perfect, sharp, the way that it was laying. And ran into it, and it stabbed straight into my knee. And I had to keep going and then try to come back out that way. And by the time I got out, my whole leg was swelled up huge. My pants were covered in blood. My shoe was full of blood. And I didn't even have anything. I mean, I had my backpack. No, I didn't even think I did that day. I didn't think I did have my backpack. I think it's the only time I hadn't took my backpack in with me. And I almost got left in the woods overnight. And I never didn't take it again after that.
Me and a buddy of mine were out cutting wood one time. Chainsaw hit something and bit back and cut his leg open. And we had to tourniquet that, and firemen's carried him back to the house.
Wow. Spencer, what just popped in my head, that Misty's first aid kit has probably got like a 8-ounce little steel cauldron where she can build a little fire under it. Be plucking bushes.
Wait, it's just like that little mini cast iron thing that Anthony had where the green smoke. That's what she's got.
So you guys saying like on the old Bugs Bunny cartoon, whenever Misty takes off, there's this and then she disappears, and there's a bunch of bobby pins falling.
Yeah, pretty much.
She's got a mini cauldron with one Band-Aid of aspirin. The rest of it's all like plants and tinctures.
Hey,
Yes.
if it's a supply kit from the army, it's nothing but clean socks and Motrin.
Get your arm chopped off at the elbow, and she's like, "Hold on, I got something for that." And she's digging around with herbs.
I wouldn't even have to take stuff like that. I mean, most of the time, you're going to be able to look around and get what you need right there in the woods, anyways.
See,
if you're in the
go.
woods, but
Here we go. Here we go. Do you have a tourniquet? No. How about a pressure band? No. Hold on. Let me go find.
I got you. Hold on.
I'll be back. Hold on. Let me go find this.
She comes back with 2 squirrel hides wove together and a stick to make a tourniquet.
I got you. I'm telling you. Don't trust me.
Squirrels, nature's tourniquet.
Yes.
She called her people and sacrificed.
We'll figure it out. Don't worry.
She's not into ditch medicine, it's witch medicine.
Moss is a good compression bandage.
Yeah, moss actually can make a good bandage.
I just carry one.
You just rip off some of your shirt or whatever, and just doctor it how you can.
Just reach down in there and pull your bloomers out and wrap it around it.
Yes.
Well,
Just don't use the part with the brown streak.
I knew at the beginning of the show that by the end of the show we would get to this section of it. See, it's kind of like how y'all write books where you got this overall plot of how it's going to go. I saw this coming a mile away. The brown streak part was a plus.
Man. Well,
Anyway,
I'm just thinking,
thank you, Katie.
what were you saying, House?
I just wanted to say that I just want to publicly express to DA and Robbie both how overwhelmed I am to even be considered to be in one of their books. And golly, it's just, I mean, I feel like Santa Claus is like stranded in my living room. He's just been here since Christmas. So.
I know he was giddy like a schoolboy when he was trying to tell us about it. He's like, you ain't going to believe this. You're just not going to believe it. Thank you. It is an honor. Y'all, please, again,
Yes.
go get their books.
Oh,
go
man.
get the Kindle version, get the audio version. Go get their books. At least one book. Come on. Go get their books.
Yeah. They're going to be like Lay's tater chips all morning. You can't get just one.
Exactly. And then once you read one, then you're going to have to keep reading the other ones to find out exactly how they kill us off. So
Yes, please buy my books because I'm too ugly for OnlyFans.
That's why you got to do the feet pics, DA. I'm trying to tell you here how to take care of that.
Ain't nobody gonna look at my gnarled up feet.
She sent us one other day. Her feet was. She sent us one other day that was caked in kale and mud about an inch thick.
True story. Robbie, I want to be one of the guys that gets to pre-screen some of the stuff. I want to see behind the scenes.
Send me your email.
I will.
Messenger.
I will. Well, guys, thank you for being on. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we hop off here? Or?
Dude, we got plenty to talk about. I mean, it's getting us to shut up that's a trick.
Yes. Hey, Spencer, before we get off here, no joke. I gotta bring it up. We didn't have that show the other day because of my adopted brother Allan, passing away. And I just want to throw out a heartfelt thank you to everybody that's reached out, all the prayers, and just everybody that's reached out and with nothing but words of kindness. And he left a void that'll never be filled. But he loved this group. He loved this stuff, y'all. And anybody that's never heard Allan's encounters, I mean, a lot of it was he's been right there beside me on a lot of this stuff that I've been through for the last 25 years. And only by the grace of the Lord, I'm so proud that he came on several podcasts with me on our shows. He came on with Sawdust Beast with me, and he was there with me to validate what I've been telling people, and because he was there with me, he could back me up on all of it, and I'm so glad that I finally got him to talk about the one he saw right on the other side of this wall right here. It was standing in my yard, and y'all, that even until Allan died, I mean, he was here, a few weeks before he passed away. He sat in that chair right over here across from where I'm at, and we talked about it. We went all the way through that whole deal. Every time he was home, we was going through that, and Allan was still having troubles dealing with that. And he said, it was just etched in his brain. He said he closed his eyes, he could see it. So, but yeah, anybody hadn't heard his story, you can go back on the episode of, hold on, give me 1 second. It is the Man Cave Adventures with Greg and Al. And it's been about 10 months ago when we done that one. But you can go on our Woodwalkers podcast, but that's the one it was. It was Man Cave Adventure, or actually Bigfoot at the Man Cave, and it says Man Cave Adventures with Greg and Al. So if y'all hadn't heard Allan's story, what happened right here he was standing on this porch through this door, and that thing was about 35 feet from him, right here by my propane tank. But y'all, just like I said, I mean, I was overwhelmed. Misty, I know everybody couldn't come, but Brother Billy Schilling come from Virginia, came down to White Pine, Tennessee, got in with Sherry, Mr. Jim, and Misty. They came down and stayed like 3 nights, was here for the funeral. Brother Billy, him and Sherry, they sang a song at the graveside. I mean, it was just the funeral for a funeral. I mean, there's no great funerals, but Al had the send off that he deserved. A lot of tears, but y'all, it's just he was my best friend for 40 years, and he's definitely gonna be missed. But I mean, I look up and here's Roger and Heather show up. Joe Parker and Miss Pat drove from nearly Texas. They're in Louisiana. Drove all the way over here, come to pay their respects. We had Mark Green and Terry Allen showed up. Jack Oberkirk showed up. I mean, it was just y'all overwhelming. It just the calls, the text, people checking on me. That's why I call this a family. Y'all, it's been overwhelming. And for me and my family, thank y'all so much.
I was
Yeah,
do.
unfortunately. Michael X. Brother Billy. Well, guys, yeah, sorry, I didn't want to bring it up. I didn't know if Greg wanted to talk about it or anything, but there you have it. Al will be missed. He was a very genuine guy. I only met him in person handful of times, but very, very great guy, very humble and helpful and quiet, modest, just a really good man. And like Greg said, we certainly do feel like most of the people that we know, it's just, we're a family and we like to think of it that way. And we've actually taken some hits here in the past couple of years, haven't we? Quite a few people already. I don't know. Tell the people that you love, that you do care about them. Let them know. You never know.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Hold on a second. Look, hey, y'all, by the way, go get the books. And if you want a shirt, get a hold of Greg. Look here. Check these out.
Yeah.
I don't know what you can see. I can't even see it myself. Hold on.
There you go.
He's got different sizes, different colors, t-shirt, long sleeve. Get a hold of him, get you a t-shirt, and y'all go get you books. Let us know and post it after you read what you guys think about them or whatever. Don't give no details. Just let us know how you enjoyed them.
Yeah, that we're gonna get the shirts up where people can order them. One of them's kind of been busy, especially with Al passing and all that. But yeah, we're gonna try to get it up, if nothing else, on the Woodwalkers Facebook page where people can order it. Like Abby said, y'all got merch now, so I guess we do. And I'm gonna bring a bunch of shirts to that Tennessee Wildman Conference. Anybody that's around, y'all come see us up there. I know Roger's gonna be there. Coonbo's gonna be there. I can't remember who all else. There's gonna be several folks there. Hopefully, it'll be a pretty. Last year it was a pretty good conference, and I look for it to be a good one this year. But yeah, I got to throw this out, y'all. One of my buddies, right after the funeral, when they were covering Allan's grave up, I had one of my lifelong friends walk up. He said, "Look, I know that man and woman singing with some of you Bigfoot buddies." I said, "Yeah." I said, Billy come from Virginia and Sherry come from White Pine, Tennessee. He grabbed me by the hand. He leaned over and he said, "I'm going to tell you right now." He said, "That was one of the prettiest funerals I've ever seen because it was down to earth. It wasn't nothing fancy." He said, "But if something happens to me, if you don't do that same thing for me and get them to come sing for me like that, you didn't ever even love me." So it was unreal, y'all. I mean, unreal. But I owe such a debt of gratitude to Billy. Billy said the final prayer over Allan, and y'all, it was just, he had one heck of a send off.
Sure did. All right,
Yeah.
guys.
All right. And I'm sure we can't get the outro video to work. I don't know what's going on with that. We're going to figure this out before next week. But anyway, guys, from all of us to all of you, thank you very much. We will see you next week. DA and Robbie, appreciate it. Guys, go check out their books, pretty please. Love y'all. Everybody take care.
Thank you, guys.
Big love, y'all.
Really, that's so awesome. I know I haven't really said a whole lot about it, but I'm telling you, I can't even put into words. Like it's mind blowing. I don't even know what to say. Spencer, you looking stupid again.
He's just excited to get to kill me in a book. That's all. Don't read too much into it. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Good night.
Not
See y'all.